Hello and welcome to myfinanceteacher.org. Here's a tweet I tweeted at the end of March, that was 21st of March, where I mentioned that I was expecting some volatility to come sometime in April. The reason for that was that usually very calm periods on the markets, whichever asset it is, are replaced with volatile periods and vice versa. And since we had Bitcoin price within a narrow range for the first 3 months of 2019, I was expecting to see some volatility coming up in April. After that, what happened a couple of days ago, on the 2nd of April, to be honest, I did not expect this much volatility. The price of Bitcoin moved from 4,200, even slightly under that, all the way up to $5,070, something like that, within one day. That is nearly 21% move within one day. I did not expect that much volatility. The next day, the climb even continued all the way up to 5,300. And I think there was a comment somewhere in the channel asking me whether it is a good price to jump in since the Bitcoin is running away from us. The comment also mentioned something about these 2-month cycles. Unfortunately, for some reason, I couldn't find that comment. Maybe I saw it somewhere else. So let me try to give my opinion on the cycles and whether it's a good idea to chase this sort of a move. Starting with the cycles, we had a 2-month cycle between the middle of December and early February. That gives us 54 days, about a couple of months for a cycle. And the recent big move up, I think, tells us that the cycle we had since early February has finished, although the decline of that cycle hasn't really been that dramatic. The high of the cycle was at about 4,200, slightly above that, $4,240 or so, and we see the low at about 3,960. Nevertheless, I think such a dramatic move up tells us that the cycle since early February has finished. That gives us only 46 days for that cycle, which is on a short side, but it's not out of realm of possibilities. So the next question is, should we chase this move up because the bull market is starting and Bitcoin is running away from us? Well, a simple answer to that is not at the moment. Actually, since that dramatic move up, more than a moment has already passed and the price has already cooled down from 5,300 all the way down to under 5,000 at the moment. But it still could be a little early to try to catch this bull run. Look at RSI, that's a 14-day RSI. It's currently at the level of above 85. And even in the bull market, let's have a look at the bull market all through 2017. Whenever we saw RSI at such extremely overbought levels, we did see a pullback down in price sometime afterwards. Not in all of the cases, but that happened in many of the cases. Here's an interesting example. In May 2017, we see RSI sort of almost embedded within the overbought territory. And the price only pulls back significantly down after a couple of weeks of almost constant move up. But with that exception, whenever RSI is deep into overbought territory, the price did tend to cool down for a while, even over here in August 2017, when the drop was not that significant, but still over the next several days after the RSI became so high, there was some sort of a pullback down in the price when it decreased from 4,400 all the way down to 3,700 or so. That is a 15% down. That is a significant pull down. Again, in September, we see overbought RSI and the price cools down significantly shortly after that. In the middle of October, again, an unusual situation happens where RSI has been relatively deep into overbought territory, but the price didn't really correct down that much. It was sort of consolidating within this narrow, more or less horizontal channel. In early November, though, the price did correct after RSI went deep into overbought territory. And of course, I think we all know what happened in December 2017. The price was overbought. And since then, we've dropped from 20,000 all the way down to where we are at the moment, under 5,000. So in the very short term, I think there's no rush to chase such a big move up. Of course, nobody knows the future, and maybe the cool down that we've seen already from 5,300 to 4,900, that is almost 8% down, will prove to be enough, and the price will continue to grind higher until we see some sort of a 2-month low at the end of May or early June. But even though it is kind of possible, I think it's a little bit more prudent to wait and see what happens to Bitcoin price over the next another several days. It might pull back down a little bit more since RSI is still deep in overbought territory. The 50-day moving average is pretty far below the price. Even the 100-day moving average is far below the price as well. And remember, if we are entering a period of high volatility, the jumps in price can take place in the direction upwards as well as downwards. So in the very short term, I'm still waiting. Although in the longer term, I try to employ this strategy of dollar cost averaging. There are a lot of videos on that on YouTube. You might have heard about that. So all the way since around $6,000 and the decline from those levels, I try to buy a little bit, a small, tiny bit of fraction of Bitcoin every week. So over the long term, in general, these prices are relatively good to make sure you gradually accumulate some amount of Bitcoin. But in the very short term, I'm postponing my weekly purchase for just another few days to see what happens. A funny possibility would be if over the next several days, Bitcoin actually breaks down below that 3940 and gives us a more normal duration cycle of a couple of months. But I don't think it's likely at all. It's just some sort of a joke that the markets could play on us, getting everyone excited about the 21% up move and then having everyone slam down below the recent lows. So as I mentioned in my previous video, by the way, link at the top of the screen, I think patience is a virtue, especially for investors. Patience to accumulate your positions gradually whenever the price is relatively good in the long-term perspective. After all, we've dropped a lot down from 20,000. And patience not to rush to jump back in after we see a 21% move up. That is my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Maybe there is some insiders news that we don't know about. Maybe tomorrow some kind of an ETF is going to be approved and the price is going to jump up above that level of 6,000 where we were for quite a while. Whatever happens, good luck in your trades. And I think you can help your luck a little bit if you subscribe to this channel, if you give this video a thumbs up. Remember to follow my Twitter account, that's MyFinanceTeacher without the last R. I will try to post a little bit more regularly there as opposed to the YouTube channel. That is all for now, and have a nice day.